So right now the next job is to put in the sub floor, which the tongue and groove good floor will go on top of. So we've got some plywood and we're just cutting it to size to fit in between these studs here, which means we just have to chop off one end of the plywood. So I'm just measuring off one side, cutting that down about this much off each piece, and then slotting it in from there. So a few different notes on the floor. First off, we're using seconds of this certain plywood, which means seconds mean they've got defects in them. So you can see, it's got like paint, chipping off a little bit. It's got like a ding here, some paint peeling off there. So they're a little bit dodgy, but they're super light, and they were cheap as well. They're only $30 a piece for this plywood. And I've put all of the defects on the top surface, so the bottom surface is as defect free as possible, so that it protects from any water or moisture coming up from the ground onto the bottom of the floor. And the top section will have another floor on top of that, so that'll be all covered, all of those defects. So that's why I put all of the peeling paint and dings on top as well. The other thing that we just found out is with all of these shavings that we drilled in, and they've just sort of fallen down, they've started to rust. So this steel is galvanized from the outside, but once you cut into it, it's not, and it can rust. And so if you have a steel structure that isn't covered or undercover while you're building it, it's best to vacuum or wipe up any metal shavings, and don't leave them out in the weather, because those metal shavings will start to rust and then it'll go onto your frame. So it's only been a week, so I can easily just wipe up all of these metal shavings and just wipe off the rust. It's just surface rust at the moment, so I've got to do that. But that's a good point for remembering, if it's not undercover, get rid of all the metal shavings before you continue. Alright, so we managed to get most of the flooring in. As you can see here, comes all the way up to this end, which is pretty sweet. So now I've got a floor to walk on, and we can put up ladders and stuff and drill in, the corners that we couldn't reach before, things like that. And this floor has actually got to be taken off again, and I've got to put plastic down on the metal beams, and then I'll put this floor back on and glue it down. So this is fitted to shape, but it's still got to be pulled up and then fixed permanently. One thing you've got to remember about putting in the bits of wood to support the floor on the end is that you don't want to cut them perfectly to size. You want to cut them a little bit shorter, because with the corners you've got the welding, so you can't have it flush because it won't fit. So it's got to come in, about 4 or 5 mil on either side to allow for that welding corner. So you want to make it, 8 to 10 mil shorter for these bits of wood.